to talk about, including a story that just is breaking over the New York Times, a special report from 35 minutes ago that we're going to get to right now. This just keeps going and going.
Why don't we try and break this? It's a huge article, but let's break it down as carefully as we can. There's more information from this upcoming new book. It's called Clinton Cash, which looks into foreign donations to the Clinton Foundation. Politico reports that one of the book's chapters alleges that Frank Giustra, a Canadian donor who pledged over $100 million to the foundation, influenced Hillary Clinton's stance on a Colombia trade deal at the State Department. Both Clinton and then Senator Obama opposed it during the 2008 campaign. But by 2009, Clinton supported the deal, as did the White House. Meanwhile, this New York Times story claims the foundation received millions of dollars as Russia pushed for control of a Canadian uranium company. Canadian records are cited to show that the chairman of Uranium One made more than $2 million in donations, which the Clinton Foundation reportedly did not disclose. And it's alleged other people connected to the company donated as well, and that a Kremlin-connected bank promoting stock in the company soon paid Bill Clinton $500,000 for a speech in Moscow. Several U.S. agencies ultimately had to approve the deal because uranium is a strategic asset, including the State Department. A Clinton campaign spokesman told the Times no one, quote, has ever produced a shred of evidence supporting the theory that Hillary Clinton ever took action as Secretary of State to support the interest of donors to the Clinton Foundation, to suggest the State Department, under then Secretary Clinton, exerted undue influence in the U.S. government's review of the sale of uranium. One is utterly baseless. Clinton is also facing scrutiny after a Newsweek report that the largest individual contributor to the Clinton Foundation allegedly traded with Iran in breach of U.S. sanctions. Viktor Pinchuk, the fourth richest man in Ukraine, owns an oil and gas pipe company and reportedly attended Bill Clinton's 65th birthday party in 2011. Newsweek reports records show that a series of shipments from Pinchuk's company to Iran. So we have a lot of different stories here that lead to more of a narrative, but possibly some conflicts.
Well, we're getting into detail.
Should we look at it that way?
Well, no, they're definite conflicts. There's no doubt they're definite conflicts. But you know, I think a lot of people have known that there were going to be problems coming into this. Democrats certainly knew it. The Clintons were getting hundreds of millions of dollars from characters across the globe, oligarchs across the globe, and at the same time, they were getting deals from the Clinton State Department, waivers from the Clinton State Department. Mm-hmm. And so, I'll be honest with you, all of this has come rushing in so quickly over the past 12 to 24 hours. Mm-hmm. It's not a book, because a lot of people will say, oh, it's a Clinton Cash, and this guy is this guy is that. There's something very interesting. We have some breaking news about this guy that Clinton Cash. Right. It's embargoed until 6:30, and we're going to reveal on the show at 6:30 who he's going after next. But you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. You're talking about waivers. You're talking about a very tight, incestuous relationship that's there's no doubt going to cause problems. Now, again, this New York Times article that goes on and on and on and on and on about a very tight, intimate relationship between Bill Clinton and several industrialists who are getting breaks from the State Department at the same time and giving, you know, millions and millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation. That's going to take a while to sort through. Well,
and also the question will be, can that kind of business be being done by a spouse when one is serving in the State Department? I think that's a very legitimate question.
Well, you know, Willie, this is something obviously the Obama administration was concerned about. They had a memo of understanding. They were hoping that it would stop these sort of conflicts from taking place. But obviously, you look at the New York Times reporting, you look at the Newsweek reporting, I mean, it's it's obviously not been able to stop these questions from rising.
And as you say, there's a lot to sift through. I mean, we've got Russia, you've got Ukraine, you've got Iran, you've got Colombia, all these separate stories. The question will be, this money was given to the Clinton Foundation. There's no disputing that. The question will be, was there quid pro quo, and how do you prove that if Hillary Clinton did things in favor of these people, can you prove that that's...
You know, it's going to be very hard. Jeremy Peters, it's going to be very hard to prove quid pro quo, especially when you're dealing with people like the Clintons who've been doing this since 1992. They've been in the national spotlight in 1992. They're much smarter. I mean, it's always, they've got the bend, don't break defense. Man, have they bent over to the ground, but they just don't seem to break. So I think they're very smart people. I want to ask you something, though, because this is fascinating. This is obviously the New York Times' big story for the day. I mean, it's a special report. It's at the top of it's the top of the website. But what's fascinating is it didn't get released until 35 minutes ago. Just take us behind the scenes of the New York Times. Is this reporting that was going on all night, most likely? Why did it happen that way? Why do you release a story at 5:15 in the morning?
I don't know. Those decisions happen way above my pay grade, so right. I'm not really sure exactly the process that went on there. But what I will say is that if you look at all of the various scandals that the Clintons will have to deal with, whether it's Benghazi or the emails or the foundation, you know, the foundation financial dealings were always the most problematic, and they were always the ones that Republicans felt had the most there. If you talk to Republican ad makers, they'll tell you, you know, the email thing, it's very hard to condense into a 30-second ad. There's not really a linear thought there. You can't really say she broke the law, so what did she do? But this foundation business, you know, they've taken monies from foreign countries that do not have interests that align with the United States. That is very, very much more serious. And that, I think, is going to be a recurring storyline for the next 15 months.
And Howard,